Hi, I'm Murphy, and this is my channel, Murphy's Every Whim, where I talk about books, because I love to talk about books. I also love just having lots of books that I've read recently. I've been enjoying being able to go into my spreadsheet and update that I've finished this book and this book and this book and this book. And I've read a lot of things that weren't on my list in addition to what's on my list. Today I want to talk about one of the books that I have gotten from Library Thing in order to give a review. And that book is The Bridge on Bear River by Terry Tierney. This was a really fun book for me to read, and in fact, I have visual aids. I have some computer punch cards because back in the day, I was a computer programmer who had to use computer punch cards. And the book, The Bridge on Bear River, reminded me all about that. In this book, the main character is Curt. Curt is an ex-Marine. He had fought in the Viet Nam War. This is during the 1980s, so it's during Reaganomics, during the time when there are a lot of Vietnam vets, but also at a time when some businesses were not doing so well. And Curt lives in Binghamton, New York, in the Rust Belt. And so a lot of the manual labor jobs are going out. Computer automation is coming in. So Curt is a big guy. Think your stereotypical beefy Marine, and he looks like he would be working in something very physical. And in fact, he used to work in construction, but now he's running a forklift at a dairy. And what he really wants is to get into computing. And so he keeps asking his boss to let him do some computing. He starts out by data entry, which at the time was doing punch cards and running them through the machine. They are actually working with a PDP-11. Sorry, I'm excited about the whole computing aspect of this book. A PDP-11, and VMS is the operating system, and I've done all that. So I remember doing that. So Curt actually volunteers to do all this. He works with several people, including the woman who runs the computing level, which is in the basement where it's always cold, and she's goth, and people call her the vampire. And so he works with her. At work, there's a lot of work politics going on, work romances. Looming over their head is, can the dairy stay around, or is it going to go the wayside like a lot of other businesses? Outside of work, Curt spends a lot of time at a local dive called Mother's. Mother's is run by a brother-sister pair. The sister has several boyfriends, fiancés during the book. And she's also quite attractive, and that's why a lot of people come to Mother's, so they can watch her while she's serving beer to people. The sister-brother pair want to earn enough money they can open a restaurant rather than running a dive. Curt's friends at the bar include another vet who actually lost his leg, and he uses the loss of his leg as an opportunity to try to bum drinks off of everyone, but he might actually have more money than maybe people think he has. There's also the writer for the local newspaper who looks like Einstein and passes out and is able to take his glasses off before he falls to the bar when he passes out. And so those are the kind of people he hangs out with outside of work. But he also has an anger management problem, so sometimes he has trouble keeping work. And so there's someone else he works for sometime, and that's the local bookie. And the local bookie's office is at his used car lot, where he has taken one of the cars, and that's where he does all his work. And so this is the setting that Curt lives in, and this is really just a story about him trying to make his way in work and in love, and telling about what Rust Belt America was like during the Reagan era, post-Viet Nam. There's not much of a story to this. In fact, it's a novel in stories. So these were originally published in literary magazines as short stories, and they've been taken and woven together into a novel. That's not to say that there isn't a beginning and a middle and an end, but it really is just a story of small town USA. I connected a lot with Curt as a programmer, as someone who was working and trying to keep a job in the 1980s, who spent a lot of time at working men's dives, shooting pool, sneaking out to the parking lot and smoking some pot. I felt like I really knew this guy and was rooting for him all the time, hoping that he could hold it together. Another thing is that Curt really wants to solve everyone's problems. And so he's always looking out for other people, but sometimes he doesn't always use legal means to solve their problems. Now, I don't necessarily connect with that part of his life, the not legal means, but I understand about seeing people in trouble and wanting to help them. I really enjoyed this book, The Bridge on Bear River. I enjoyed it because it took me back to a time that I lived through. I enjoyed it because Curt is a character that you want to sit down and have, some Jenny Cream Ale with. I felt like I knew him. I think Terry Tierney is a good writer, nice, crisp writing. Looking forward to seeing what else there is out by Terry. That's it. It's still morning, barely morning, on a cold, almost snowy day. I have already hung up 2 loads of laundry on the line, getting up ready to hang out my 3rd load. Yes, I hang up laundry in the winter as well as the summer. Hope to see you again sometime. Take care. And having these the book